The news that China is building a fourth aircraft carrier has been going around for some time. But what many don't know is that the country seems to be eyeing the prospect of building not just any aircraft carrier, but a nuclear-powered one. Back in 2012, China commissioned the Liaoning. It was an incomplete Soviet Kuznetsov-class carrier bought from Ukraine in 1998 and towed to China in 2002. Soon after it was refurbished to operational status, it became the country's first ever aircraft carrier. Then, 5 years down the line, China launched the Shandong, a 50,000-ton carrier based on the Liaoning. It came with a ski jump-style deck for taking off, with a conventional oil-fueled steam turbine power plant. Shandong was a piece China was proud of because it was the first aircraft they had domestically produced. Its existence demonstrated the growing technical sophistication of the country's defense sector. Soon after the Shandong, China decided to take things further. The plan to obtain a third aircraft carrier was made, and construction of them began in earnest. However, delays in deliveries of critical components and workforce quarantines would set the development of the carrier back by several months. In June 2022, China finally unveiled a powerful aircraft carrier called the Fujian. It was a massive upgrade from the previous two carriers the country had in its inventory. The carrier, which is powered by 4 steam turbo generators as well as 8 diesel engines, has an estimated displacement of about 85,000 tons. Unlike the Liaoning and the Shandong, which employed an older ski ramp design that limited carrier fuel and armament of its embarked aircraft, the Fujian was equipped with an electromagnetically assisted launch system, or EMALS for short. The major advantage EMALS has over traditional steam catapults is that it uses powerful electromagnets to launch aircraft. EMALS are also known to be easier to operate and gentler on airframes. This alone potentially reduces maintenance downtime and increases service life. The presence of the EMALS also allows the Fujian to launch heavier aircraft and put more aircraft in the air in a shorter amount of time. To date, Fujian remains China's biggest, most modern, and most sophisticated aircraft carrier. But despite these impressive milestones that have been achieved by China in terms of acquiring efficient aircraft carriers, there is still something missing. And this is a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. So far, the only countries that operate nuclear carriers are the United States and France. While France contents itself with the Charles de Gaulle, the United States manages a couple of Nimitz and Ford classes carriers. Now at this point, you might be wondering what the big deal about nuclear-powered carriers is. Well, to get a better understanding, let us take a quick look at the advantage of nuclear carriers over conventionally powered ones. If you've been enjoying this video so far, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Conventional aircraft carriers might need less maintenance and are cheaper to build. However, nuclear carriers, without a doubt, have an upper edge over them. According to Malcolm Davis, who is a senior security analyst, a conventional carrier requires all sorts of underway logistics support, including replenishment ships and ideally forward bases to sustain carrier operations, whereas nuclear-powered carriers don't need nearly as much forward support. Another thing that stands out about nuclear carriers is their longer range and better catapult launch systems. This is possible because their reactors can increase the speed and range of the carrier and produce steam to power the catapults. In addition to this, they have more power than their contemporary counterparts, and this also means that they have more speed. Nuclear-powered carriers also typically have much more free storage capacity, so they can store more jet fuel, weapons, and many other things. As a matter of fact, nuclear carriers are able to carry twice as much jet fuel compared to their contemporary counterparts. So, in a nutshell, having a nuclear carrier makes a lot of sense, as it would help reinforce the perception of the Chinese Navy as a force to reckon with. This is why there was a great deal of excitement when China State Shipbuilding Corporation, or CSSC, revealed in 2018 that it had started working on its next carrier. According to the CSSC, the carrier would help the People's Liberation Army Navy realize a strategic transformation and combat readiness capability in deep waters and open oceans by 2025. When this revelation was made, many believed that the carrier would be nuclear-powered. Things even got more exciting in 2019 when China General Nuclear Power Group solicited bids for a contract to build a 30,000-ton nuclear-powered ship. In addition to this, rumors also got out that Chinese officials were studying a proposal to use nuclear power for the fourth carrier. It should be known that most of the details regarding this next carrier, which is designated as Type 004, have been shrouded in secrecy. However, words have gotten out concerning some of the proposed features of the carrier. For one, it is expected to displace between 90,000 and 100,000 tons, and have electromagnetically assisted launch systems, EMALS, catapults, for getting aircraft off the deck. It will also likely carry a large air wing of J-15 fighters, J-31 stealth fighters, KJ-600 airborne early warning and control aircraft, anti-submarine warfare helicopters of the People's Liberation Army Naval Air Force, and stealth attack drones. Oh, that's not all. In addition to being larger than the Fujian, it will also be the first Chinese carrier to have nuclear marine propulsion. This propulsion is expected to generate enough electricity that it would power laser weapons and railguns. There were suggestions that the aircraft carrier would also carry J-20 aircraft. However, this would not be the case because J-20 aircraft are not structurally designed to cope with the carrier's operations. There is also the likelihood of the aircraft's stealth coating undergoing degradation while at sea. So far, China has completed the design for the Type 004, and there are suggestions that the design would be similar to that of the Fujian. A Chinese naval source revealed that its construction will be handed over to the Jiangnan shipyard in Shanghai. It's also expected that this construction might take longer than it took to complete the Fujian due to the different propulsion systems. The launch date of the Type 004 is not yet certain, but many believe that it should be ready between 2025 and 2027. Having it around that time would of course be a major plus to China, since it plans on launching at least 4 aircraft carrier strike groups by 2030. In a surprising twist, there have been contradicting statements regarding the Type 004. Some suggest that it might not be nuclear-powered after all. Well, according to a source, the final decision as to whether the carrier will be nuclear-powered or diesel-propelled is yet to be made, and the Navy leadership of China even seemed to be in favor of having a diesel-powered carrier rather than a nuclear-powered one. The reason that it has been given for that is that China's naval nuclear reactor technology is not advanced enough to support an aircraft carrier. According to a statement made by a researcher from the Yanwang Military Science and Technology, the electromagnetic catapult system is still a new technology for both the People's Liberation Army Naval Air Force and the U.S. Navies. But the naval nuclear reactor technology for a giant surface platform is a totally new thing for China. Based on this, it is believed that it will take a while for the PLA Navy to catch up with their USA rivals. It is important to note, however, that China has developed naval nuclear reactors for both its attack submarines and ballistic missile submarines. But there is no doubt that it still has a lot of catching up to do. For instance, the country's most advanced multi-purpose nuclear reactor, the ACP-100 Small Modular Reactor, also known as the Linglong-1, is only 3% compared with 60% of the U.S. Nimitz-class aircraft carriers, and 97% on the Ford-class ones. To put it more simply, the ACP-100 reactor would need to refuel once every 2 or 3 years, whereas one on a Ford-class ship can operate for up to half a century. Some analysts are also of the opinion that China should not rush to pursue a nuclear-powered giant aircraft for safety reasons, but should instead make do with the conventional ones. Well, on a final note, even if the Type 004 doesn't turn out to be nuclear-powered, there's still no doubt that China would seek to develop one in the future. So, what are your thoughts concerning the planned Type 004 aircraft carrier? Will it be nuclear-powered like many believe, or do you think that China will be deciding against that? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more, and turn on the notification bell to be notified whenever new content drops.